Today, I'm going to give you my report on the health of the real estate market for the month of May 2025 in Barrie and Simcoe County. Be sure to watch until the end, where I tell you the story of an interesting house that I saw listed this week. Hi everyone, I'm James Myers. I'm a realtor covering the Barrie and Simcoe County and surrounding areas. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe so you don't miss whenever I upload a new video. It's free. I'm sure you've all heard the news that the real estate market is down. And yes, some of that is true. The volume of sales is way down. There is more choice for a buyer. That makes it better for the buyer because they're not feeling the pressure that they felt 3 or 4 years ago. Buyers have time to look around and decide, and you can usually put in an offer with a financing and home inspection condition in it. Check out my Instagram post with the cost difference between buying now versus buying in 2022. If you are waiting for prices to fall, newsflash, a lot of them already have. If you are waiting for prices to drop even further, you could be taking your chances. Because really, for all the people out there giving predictions on the market, nobody really knows what's going to happen. Nobody predicted what happened during the pandemic when prices skyrocketed. If you are in a position in your life where you think it's a good time for you to start looking to buy a house, go ahead and begin the process. Interest rates are holding steady. They are expected to go down 1 or 2 more times this year, but like I just said, nobody can really accurately predict that. When and if the interest rates get low enough, we're going to see a tipping point because there's a lot of buyers out there waiting and watching the interest rates. When it drops low enough, we're going to see a flurry of activity. Buyers are going to come out of the woodwork or out of their condos or parents' basements or out of the cornfields for all I know. Let's talk about months of inventory. Months of inventory is the number of months that would take to sell all the houses that are currently actively listed for sale on the market at the current rate of sales per month. For instance, if there were 100 listings and there were 25 sales in that month, that would mean there were 4 months of inventory. The general accepted thinking is that anything under 4 months of inventory is a seller's market. Between 4 and 6 months of inventory is considered a balanced market where neither buyer nor seller has any distinct advantage over the other, and over 6 months of inventory is considered a buyer's market. From 2020 to 2023, we saw a definite strong seller's market during the pandemic where houses were selling under a month or under 2 months. So that had become normalized. That's what people expected, quick sale. But that has changed, as you will see. For all property types in Simcoe County in May, there were 4,527 active listings. Combine that with 723 sales. That works out to 6.2 months of inventory. Detached homes in Simcoe County were active listings. There was 3,343 and 525 of those sold. Works out to 6.4 months of inventory. Townhouses, there were 5.2 months of inventory. In Barrie now, all home types, there were 996 active listings combined with 184 sales, gives us 5.4 months of inventory. So still in a balanced market, but leaning towards the buyers a little bit. For detached homes, there were 5.3 months of inventory. Condominium apartments in Barrie, it's a buyer's market. We've all heard how the condo market in Toronto is getting beat up. Well, getting beat up here too. 200 active listings, 25 sales, works out to 8 months of inventory. Townhouses, there were 4.5 months of inventory, which is pretty good if you're trying to sell a townhouse. Townhouses are in the lower end of the market. They're starter homes, investment type homes. They always sell faster than the higher end of the market. Any lower priced entry-level type home will sell given a reasonable amount of time, assuming it's priced right. And that is key here, priced right. I saw a house listed in the Letitia Heights area of Barrie, which is known to be an entry-level, lower-priced starter home type of area, where some of the houses sell around the $550,000, $500,000 mark. There was a house listed for $800,000. I watched it, and the listing is canceled now. They probably did not get any showings on it because nobody's going to look at this $800,000 semi-detached house when you can spend $800,000 on a nice detached house. So in my opinion, that was just stupid and a waste of everybody's time. South of Barrie, down in Ennisville, for all home types, there's 6.5 months of inventory. There were 49 detached homes sold and 382 active listings. So that works out to 7.8 months of inventory. If you are thinking of moving up from Toronto or the GTA to Innisfil, take a good hard look at it now because there seems to be some opportunities there. Lots of houses to choose from and buyers are clearly in the driver's seat. Now when I say this, it doesn't mean that everybody's desperate to sell and has to dump their house. Everybody's situation is different. Some are more motivated than others, but don't be surprised if your lowball offer gets scoffed at because the seller of that house has $1 million in the bank or something like that and is not in a must-sell situation. But I'm sure there probably are a lot of people out there who are just holding on by a thread. Let's go to the sales statistics now. For all home types in Simcoe County, the average sale price was $831,653, down from last year when it was $842,615, off by about 1.5%. Detached property in Simcoe County, average price was $907,347. That's down less than 1% from May 2024. In Barrie, detached properties, average price was $836,361, down around 8.6% from last year. Townhouses in Barrie, average price $647,055, off by around 2.8%. Condominium apartments in May, average price actually going the other way, $544,236. That's up 2.8%. And in Innisfil, the average price of a detached property actually went up too. It went to $965,212. That's an increase of 7.8%. That's strange. Even with the massive inventory down in Innisfil, the prices are still holding. I saw a house listed this week for $14 million. So I had to look at it to find out what I could get for my $14 million, in case I decide I want to move next week. Yeah, right. It was flashy and newly renovated. I looked at the history of what it had sold for previously, and it sold in 2021 for $4.5 million, and that was near peak prices. I checked out the pictures because I wanted to see what kind of dump this was, that it was worth $9 million more than they paid for it, only like 5 years later. And I can see they did some improvements. They did a lot of landscaping. They put a new dock in at the waterfront. They fixed around the pool. It really looked nice. They painted the outside of the house, which I didn't like. But the interior was perfectly fine before. It was beautiful, as you expect in a $4.5 million house. So in my opinion, they didn't improve the interior. They just changed it. So they changed it the way they looked. And now they're asking $9.5 million more than they paid for it. Sure, they have a few $1 million into the renovations, for sure. I really want to see how it turns out for them, whether they actually sell this place for anywhere close to $14 million. As I said earlier, I'm a local realtor in the Barrie and Simcoe County area. If you are thinking of moving here, or if you have a house you need to sell here, I'd love to have a conversation with you. My contact information is all in the description down below. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. If you found it helpful, please hit subscribe and then tap the bell icon to be notified every time I upload a new video.